Well, if you're a Northwestern fan, a college football fan, and you have any access to the interwebs at all, you've followed likely over the last couple of weeks the story of Kain Colter, Northwestern, and the move by CAPA or Kappa to potentially unionize college athletics. We're back on BTN Live with CJ Bacher, former Northwestern quarterback back in the late 2000s. CJ, you heard some of the testimony, what Kain Colter had to say about what the Northwestern program was and wasn't. I know that you and several other alums are quite upset at the picture that was painted by Kain. What do you think was most upsetting about what you heard?
I think the biggest implication here is that the issues are really being tainted. You've got a bunch of issues that need to be addressed, and I feel like they're not really addressing them the right way, and it's a very poor misrepresentation. It's a poor representation, of Northwestern football.
Kain was quoted as saying that it was a dictatorship, that Pat Fitzgerald ran at least 51% of the vote, and that the leadership council and the players didn't have a fair share. Now, that was his take on his time there. What was your take on your time in Evanston?
Yeah, first off, I think it's a little ironic that in a dictatorship, someone would only have 51% of the vote. And, having 49% of the vote allowed us to get a lot done. We had a lot of influence on team policies, and Coach Fitz put a huge emphasis on getting our input before making any decisions, any big decisions. Some
of the issues that Kain brought up were academic issues, and that certainly resonated with some people. Of course, you look at his resume, and he was a 3.2 GPA student in a very tough major. What was the academic support and academic guidance like for football players while you were at Northwestern?
Yeah, I think it was great. We have the advisors that every student has through the faculty, but then we also have an additional support staff that works with us to, make sure that we're doing all the right things and getting our studying done. And so I think again that's just a poor representation of Northwestern and what Northwestern football stands for.
I know via Huddle Pass and a column that you wrote that kind of stemmed into that, you've been outspoken about what Northwestern is and what it provided you. What are some of the other responses you've heard from whether it's Tyrell Sutton or other notable Northwestern alums after these hearings?
Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of the guys from the team, and the overwhelming response that I've heard is that it's just a poor representation of Northwestern football. And, there are a lot of contentions that have been made that I just strongly disagree with. And, Northwestern football has provided me with an incredible opportunity. Aside from the scholarship, which is worth about $60,000 now, the opportunities that the coaching staff made sure to put in front of us while we were students, and then now in our, in our life after football, is really second to none.
Yeah, of course, at $60,000 now, $60,000 plus per year, of course, at Northwestern, all in. Talk with CJ Bacher, former Northwestern quarterback. CJ, when I listened to Kain, it seemed like there were a couple issues that he brought up that most former collegiate athletes, including yourself, do in fact agree with, that you don't disagree with the entire move that Kappa was trying to make. What assets or what elements of what they're trying to push forward are you in support of?
Yeah, I think their agenda and their stated objectives are all something that people can get behind. It's just the way that they're going about their case. I really feel like they're throwing Northwestern under the bus, and it's kind of inherent in their case. If you look at what this union is supposed to represent, it's supposed to represent a voice for the team, which I believe is already taken care of with the leadership council, and it's also supposed to represent the players' rights as far as not being too demanding. So I mean, it is demanding. It's a demanding deal when you have a full ride scholarship to play Division I college football, but it comes with the territory. And you can definitely T.J. Jones, one of my teammates, said that he got to play a little bit of video games, 3 hours of video games a night if he wanted to. So I mean, you do have the time. It is overwhelming, but at the same time, you're building time management skills that you can use throughout your entire life.
Now, you've gone on record before we finish up by saying that you're not here to just criticize and to kind of refute what Kain has to say, but that you want to offer an alternative solution. So tell me a little bit more about that plan.
Sure. So I run a site called huddlepass.com, and on Sunday morning, I'll be releasing my proposed alternative solution. And I guess the one hint that I'll give to it is you need to follow the money here. I mean, it's something that I don't think Kappa is really looking into. It's not Northwestern's a straw man. It's the NCAA that if you have a contention with it, Northwestern does everything within the rules of within the confines of the NCAA. So if you want to go after somebody, that's who to go after. I'm not suggesting that, but don't go after my university.
CJ Bacher, former Northwestern quarterback. Powerful stuff. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Rick.